Hi everybody, I'm Kirby Hasseman. I'm the author of Delivering Marketing Joy, and really had a great opportunity today to visit with one of my good friends in the promotional products industry, Dana Zezzo. That's right. And he's VP at Jetline. And we had an opportunity to get together today, and we're trying to take full advantage of it. And one of the things we wanted to talk about is actually a specific case study from my book, where we talk about Jetline and we talk about commonsku, which is an order management platform within our industry. And they had a really cool and creative way of branding their product and working together collaboratively on it. And I wanted to talk to Dana a little bit about that. So thank you.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about commonsku and what you guys decided. You and Mark Graham kind of came up with this idea, and so just kind of tell us from the beginning through execution.
Yeah, so Mark and I have been friends because of the social that we ran parallel there, where if I didn't get hired for an event, he did, and if he didn't, I did. And we really got to know each other, just from a creative mind and the way we think and the products we're passionate about and the way we want to deliver those to the world. So when Mark launched, Mark was successfully branding his distributorship, which is Right Sleeve, with some super cool swag. And I love the word swag. And he loves the word swag. We hit it off when we both love swag.
And a great guy. Mark.
He is a great guy. So when he launched commonsku, he took his branding expertise from the distributorship, Right Sleeve, which he was having a lot of success with, and started applying some of the basic principles over to the commonsku. And he had a young lady by the name of T. Hamilton he worked with, who's a phenomenal creative person, still works with Jetline and many other people in the industry. And she worked with Mark to come up with the character, SkuBot. And when I saw the character, my juices started flowing. He started creating, obviously, the doggone t-shirt guys again. He starts creating all the cool commonsku t-shirts, and I don't sell t-shirts, so I don't, but I want to play in his sandbox. I want to contribute. So immediately I thought, of his character. I said, hey, would you ever do a custom stress of the character? And, again, a lot of shots to stress, but it is cool product. It really is a cool product. So we started the juices flowing. He got his marketing person involved. I got my marketing person involved. We had all these conference calls. I think in the book you quoted, it took a year, and it really did. But commonsku was still developing, so there was a lot of going on there. And we knew that at one point during his giveaways, when people signed up, he wanted to use a Jetline product to reward them, to give back to for signing up or getting a demo or whatever he finally decided to do. So we created the commonsku stress ball. Now, from our perspective, what was going on is we really wanted to put Jetline back in the forefront of being able to do custom stress, because again, vintage wise, the stuff goes around and around. I think custom, stress is kind of back in.
Absolutely.
It's cyclical. So we created, this is what the final product was, and it worked out really good. And this was kind of interesting because when we thought through it in the book, you reference there's two forms of the way we market. So we have, this is traditional marketing, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So there's two forms, and what was going on is, one, Mark was trying to get retention to his thing. So Mark worked with myself as a brand, which I was honored, to explain to people, hey, check it out. That here's some other people that are on the platform and having fun with it. So the one campaign, the one website was built around promoting commonsku to the industry, and then they were rewarded with this. Now, what I had never seen, and what the other half of the campaign was, is no one ever seen the making of custom stress. So basically what we did is we documented the making and photographed it. We used the original character to the illustration from the graphic person, her name is T, actually documenting how these things are, the clay mold is made, and then you got to inject them, and then how they're painted. And people were like,
you take the mystery out of it a little bit,
too, awesome.
which has got to, from a distributor side, when you think about a project like this, you're like, oh gosh, I don't even know where to begin. Well, this helps take some of that away.
So two campaigns happened simultaneously. Mark was promoting the platform and rewarding based on what we all believe, which is giving back promotional products to the people to get engaged in the brand.
Yep.
And we've got a whole slew of pictures that people have posted all over social media, from Facebook to Twitter to Pinterest to Instagram, and I've tried to collect them all, and I think I have a board on my Pinterest page, which is the collection of those.
That's awesome.
So someday when I write a book, I'm going to dedicate all those little photos.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, we took the exact same energy, which was the investment into the making them, and documented that to create an entire case study in transparency, which is, I believe, the new way of working with our customer.
I agree.
Take the guessing game out of it, and documented that, and had a whole nother website going on that was promoting that. So, it really helped us, one, show the industry Jetline's back in, as a serious player in the stress category.
Absolutely, yeah.
At the same time I do that, you got to remember that's what you guys see on the surface.
Right.
What you don't see behind the scenes is that I have to have salespeople buy into that.
Right.
This is stuff that you guys don't know about.
Okay.
So the campaign, believe it or not, our salespeople at Jetline had never seen the making of a stress ball.
Wow. Okay.
I know it's kind of embarrassing, but I can't fly them to every plant in Asia
yeah.
and see every manufacturing of every product we have.
Yeah.
So it was very enlightening to our group to understand how they were manufactured. Took some of the anxiety of them being scared about selling custom out of it. And then we took that campaign and went a step further, using promotional products all along the way. This bag is from another promotional supplier. Bought branded bags. Now the sales reps go on the calls, because my goal is to get my reps talking about what I want them to talk about.
Right.
Okay. For the better of all. For the better of Jetline. Profitability, culture, a million reasons why we all want to be on the same page. So then we put these together for them in marketing, and now they go out, and it's the same thing that was in the gift boxes that went out, and then inside there is their sample, and they hit the street, but they had a story.
Yes.
And now I'm a big advocate of Seth Godin.
Right.
And Seth Godin has, in one of my social media sessions, I end with a quote from him that says that the stories sell. Product doesn't sell, stories sell. And now I've given my reps a story.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the whole point is to give the reps the story, who give you the story, who give the story to the end user.
Absolutely. And it creates about 3 or 4 or 10 or 20 layers that say, okay, I'm not scared to show it, right? And quite frankly, and you guys did a really nice job of doing it, like me seeing it in multiple places. So it's just that same thing. Okay, I saw it. Yeah. Okay, I'll take a look at that later. But I've actually pitched this now to clients because, you know what? I hadn't thought of that in the past. But I've seen them now in multiple locations, and I've seen it all over social media, and I've seen it in many places. So yeah, okay, I hadn't thought of custom stress before, but you guys did a nice job of putting it together.
It was amazing that you can go out and traditional advertise your way back into a category.
Costs a lot of money.
I don't have those kind of budgets.
Yeah, I was going to say it costs a lot of money.
Plus, it's really not that fun. This was a lot more fun to be involved in the photography and the design and the layout and watching it go viral as much as it did. And then obviously it catapulted the next campaign we rolled right into, which was the Tomcat campaign we did. That and there's all similar marketing that went with this. And basically, if I sit down in a board meeting with the people I have to answer to, and they want to know ROI, I said, I tell them that for basically 3,000 to 4,000 pieces of stress, 30,000 to 40,000 people know that we do it. That's half the battle.
Right, absolutely.
Getting people to know you do it.
Yeah.
And then you've got to support that along the way, and it'll come back. The one ROI I can put my finger on right now is that year to date we've quoted more custom stress project at Jetline than ever in the history of the company.
Wow. Yeah, that's huge.
Now, will that go to its next layer? Time will tell. I like where I'm headed though.
Yeah,
headed in the right direction. So.
Well, I always, I tell our sales force, you unless you're at the plate swinging, can't hit it, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you certainly are at the plate swinging.
We're
So
swinging away.
That's exciting. That's exciting. Well, hey, can I ask you a couple more questions?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, you, and I've seen you speak. You actually were nice enough to speak at one of our events one time, and that's great. You're kind of the poster child within our industry on social. And so many times I think, for me, with me, I think you're preaching to the choir, right?
Right.
So what's like? What would you say? Let's start with the basics. Why should someone in our industry be on social media?
I think relevancy.
Right.
If I had to put one word on it, it would be relevant. Your buyer's getting younger. Mm-hmm. Your target audience is trying to stay current. I mean, marketing is all about being current and relevant and in sync with what's the mainstream in the world. Right. So just being not social completely already puts you off the highway.
Right.
So the number one is just relevancy. Mm-hmm. Number two is just the ability to tell your story and humanize the whole process.
Absolutely.
It's humanize you. And if you live life for the right reasons, it works out pretty good.
Yeah,
now,
right.
If you don't, you're probably one of the haters.
Yeah, right.
I can't hide all the skeletons in the closet you might have.
Right,
I mean, those are the ones that come at me like a freight train, and they don't want their friends from college posting something and this and that, and that that's their biggest fear. The irony is, I want to say we all went to college and we all have that history.
Yeah, right.
So to think that you're going to be the only one that gets their mohawk posted. Yeah. Which ironically, with the younger buyer, could probably get you more business than it's going to hurt you.
That's right.
I think people just can't get their arms around that the business culture of today is a very relaxed one. I mean, we sold, if Casual Friday didn't ever come to fruition, we wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Right.
But now it's way beyond corporate Casual Friday.
Right.
It's about relationships. It's about causes, and people are engaging. And I think you have the ability with social to just drive down that road.
Yeah, well, we talked about it a little bit earlier. I mean, the why you do business is becoming more and more relevant and more important. One thing you said, I remember because I've quoted you on it. I give you credit most of the time. Is you just made a real simple statement. Look, why social? Because that's where your customers are.
Right.
And that stuck with me too.
Yeah. I have a funny story I tell in my sessions that because I want to relate it back to reality, right? Like, so I could just stand here and say it's where your customers are, and I could put up all these slides that show you what that more people are engaged in social media by minute than they are in their emails today. Because everyone says, oh, emails, you get emails business, and I think it's going away. I don't know if we'll see it in our time, but it's definitely shifting away. It's all about communication now, and it doesn't matter how you communicate.
Right.
Email is not
the only one.
End all be all.
Yeah, it's not the only one, for sure.
So I tell this funny story in my sessions that I'm third generation Italian salesman. Okay, so that's the root of the humor right there. And I did outgrow them all, by the way, just for the record. I know I look a little shorter sitting here than I really am. But so I tell this story that my grandfather was an Italian guy, and he would get up in the morning, and I would be getting ready. I was very active in my grandparents' life when I was young. I said, Grandpa, where are you going? He said, I'm going to the coffee shop. And then I'd be like, all right. So, you ask your grandfather how many, he's going to the coffee shop every morning. Eventually, you get enough, cahoons is what they call them in Italian, to actually ask your grandfather, don't you work?
Yeah, right.
Like I'm sure my kids ask me this all the time.
It didn't take them as long to develop.
No, it didn't. When you were young, it was a little different respect level. And so I grabbed the cahoons and I asked my grandfather, I said, don't you work? And he's like, yeah. But he didn't know how to answer. I'm like, no, you don't. You go to the coffee shop every morning. Yeah. He goes, yeah? I go, that's not work. He's like, yeah, it is. I go, I got to know why you think going to the coffee shop's work every day. And he goes, because that's where my customers are. And I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, I get it. And I went to coffee with him one morning. That's the little guy, go coffee with Grandpa. And from the second he walked through that diner front door to the second he was OD'd on caffeine so bad, or he had to pee and he was about to explode, that he left, nonstop conversations. And it blew me away that, and I kind of, as I got older, I started to appreciate what he was doing. He was a salesman.
Right.
And his customers stopped every morning for coffee. So he parked himself at the coffee shop so that he could have that time with his customer. Now the irony is he was Italian, so he'd say, hey, let me buy you a cup of coffee. Now as I got older, I got to understand that back then coffee was free. So this dude was beating the system on all levels, right? Because you used to buy eggs, right, for 99 cents or $1.99. You bought 2 eggs and a piece of meat and toast, you got free coffee. So here he is up there, getting people coffee, and he was just an entertainer. He was just, hey, let me get you a drink. He's playing that role. Yeah. And my grandfather never went without anything, and he was very successful. And as I got older, and I got in, and I ended up in this strange world of social media, and people have put me on the spot, I realized I'm doing exactly what's in my blood. Yeah. I'm at the coffee shop every day, and my customers are coming in and out, and I'm engaging with them, and I'm looking for that touch point that can be 5 seconds long, a minute long, an interview long, that ends up basically building my relationship with them, that helps them trust to do business with me.
Yeah, it's still about relationships.
It absolutely is. I've never went into social to try to travel less.
Right.
I talk about that in my sessions. All I'm doing is documenting my life, and that's what people seem to like. And I don't know why. I mean, I guess someday when I write a book, I'm gonna have to hire a psychologist to tell me why these people are hooking on to this. And I hook on other people's trains too. I don't think that I'm driving a train. I'm just one of the cars, along that track. There's a reason that people are intrigued by hotel views. Yeah. There's a big, there was a comment yesterday on Common Skew about it, that I'll never top Zezzo's hotel views. And all I'm doing is giving you a glimpse.
That's right.
Of my life.
Yeah.
And for some reason, people don't travel evidently as much as I do, which I don't understand. 43 weeks, that's not overworking. I don't get that. But you see that there's brick walls, there's air conditioners. And I tell you, there's a lot of metaphors to life in those pictures.
Oh, for sure.
It's not a sandy white beach every day.
Yeah,
there's some air conditioners and brick walls and junk cars and some pretty interesting things to go along that.
Well, one of the lessons I think that I take from what you have done, from the brand you've created online, is consistency. Yes. So like you do that hotel view one time, who cares?
Right.
But when you do it every day, people become ready for it. They're looking for it. And they're like, oh, I wonder what's going on with them today. It's, as you said, a glimpse into your life, but it's only a glimpse into your life if you do it consistently.
Correct.
And I think that's a lesson for brands and for individuals.
And consistency, then, when I first started doing it, there might have been an initial pop of some conversation because it was new.
Right.
And then it faded off.
Totally.
And most people would have, just like in business, would have gave up.
That's right.
But I stuck through it because because what was happening that most people don't see. You guys don't get to hear all the private conversations I have. And the reason that I am not going to quit fighting this fight on a new form of marketing and our traditional marketing and blending them together is because you don't hear all the conversations and how people it's changed people's life. They found their biggest customer.
Right.
They overcame a major, business downfall, meaning an order went bad and it went public, and they overcame it because I worked with them on how to publicly address it on social. They're just not. If you saw all those, you'd understand why the fire just won't go out. And the hotel views is so many people come up to me after hours or offline that people don't see, and they talk about them, and they're intrigued, and they want to know the psychology of it. They want to know the reason for it. They want to know, but the one thing is, they came up to me.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a touch.
I'm still a salesman.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, and I can't do business if I can't talk to my customers.
Yeah.
All I did is opened up a lane that you must feel comfortable approaching me on that, and talking about it, and ultimately I want to do business together.
Right.
I'm not trying to take advantage of you or manipulate the data. I'm just trying to create an environment that I'm trying to make everything warm.
Yeah.
I want you to be able to walk up to me and talk about my fishing trip,
Right.
my family, and not have to that weird, awkward initial approach.
Well, it goes back to that conversation we had earlier. It's about the pull,
Yeah.
as opposed to the push, right?
Correct.
You're drawing them in, as
Well, it's
opposed to
funny,
pushing their message.
Well, it's funny because everybody interprets it, well, I don't want to say everybody. There is a significant portion of the audience that interprets my social media strategy as a pure push.
Okay.
That's when I know they don't get it.
Right.
Because you're right. Those posts are about opening doors.
Right.
I'm not trying to force anything on you. First of
Absolutely.
all, you chose to be connected. to
Right,
me. Let's not
exactly.
forget that.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
You can shut that switch off anytime you want.
Right.
So I'm trying to create conversation so the next time we engage, a trade show, a meeting, a leadership conference, at your distributorship, wherever it may be, there's a reason for us to talk.
Absolutely.
So the irony is it's interpreted as a push,
Yeah.
and it's actually far from it.
Yeah.
It is a pull.
Yeah.
Come into my life,
Yeah.
and let's
Yeah,
lay
see,
down the swords and do business.
Yeah,
and have
it's
fun.
interesting that you said that, because it would never have occurred to me. Because well, and again, I think it's about the messaging, right? So
Right.
if every single one of your posts is you saying, hey, we do stress, hey, we do stress, hey, we do stress,
Right.
well then then it's push. But if you're saying, hey, I'm out on a bike ride,
Right.
I'm fishing,
Right.
to me that's totally different. I'm just getting to know you as Dana.
Right.
So
And then the fact I think that really takes it over the edge, and I can't believe that more distributors don't do it, is I use the product every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I now I use the hashtag, field testing.
Yeah.
Or I'll put, field testing, and then I'll explain what I'm doing. And people love it. I mean, people are like, and actually, I went on a stream there. I got to give the wearable guys credit.
Yeah.
They keep me pretty outfitted. Right?
Good.
I have a nice sample budget with, the top people. You didn't hear that. The mid-level people, thank you. But I have a nice sample budget in apparel, and I went through a stretch there where I was tweeting every time I would wear something from the industry. I would tweet it, and people recognized it. Like,
Yeah.
people would come up to me. Again, they tend to do it offline because
Which is
there's a lot more social voyeurs than there
Yeah.
are social
Yeah, that's right.
engagementers.
Creepers.
Yeah, creepers. But it was just my way of kicking the industry kind of in the ass and saying,
hey, look,
you wear this stuff every day.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about it.
Yeah.
Say what you like, the cut, the fit, the movement, the feel, the weight, the wicking, whatever you want to talk about.
Right.
But you're a lot more credible if you're doing it
Totally.
than if you're
Practice
standing
what you
there
preach.
holding it.
Yeah, totally.
So the field testing
I like
has
that.
been very fun, and it's really got people to even know that Jetline has some of the product that we have that they would have never known we had before.
That's cool. All right, man. Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate
it.
Yep, thanks.